Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending today's webinar, Why Mobile and Web Testing Must Move to the Cloud. Before we begin, I'd like to cover 3 housekeeping items for our viewers. First, at the bottom of your audience console, you'll find a number of widgets with questions and additional resources. When you have questions for the presenter during the webcast, click on the Q&A widget and submit your question. We will answer as many questions as possible at the end of the webcast, and if we run out of time, we'll get back to you via email. Second, if you need any tech support during the webinar, please use the help option. Third, and finally, a copy of today's slide deck is available in the resources section at the bottom of your screen. We will also email you a link to the recording of this webinar within the next few days. With that, I'll introduce our presenter for today's broadcast, Eran Kinsbruner, Chief Evangelist here at Perfecto by Perforce. Eran, thanks for joining us on today's broadcast.
Sure, thanks, Shelby, and hi, everyone. I think today, more than ever, mobile and web testing must indeed move to the cloud, and I will try to convey some of the, I would say, key benefits of moving to the cloud in this webinar, including some demos on what you can benefit when moving your on-premise activities into the cloud. Before I start, as mentioned by Shelby, my name is Eran Kinsbruner. I'm the Chief Evangelist and also author at Perfecto, which is a Perforce company, blogger and speaker, author of these 2 books. You can find me on LinkedIn and Twitter. Feel free during the webinar and after to connect with me, ask any questions that I might have missed during the webinar. And in today's webinar, the agenda is going to be as follows. First and foremost, I'm asking you all to stay safe these days. I know that it's not a simple time for everyone, and I appreciate you joining this webinar in these times. I'm going to start by introducing the current mobile and web market landscape because, you know, while the situation outside is kind of complex, the market continuously moves, shifts, new platforms are still being obviously introduced and impacting your testing activities. So you need to be on top of these kind of trends. Then I'm quickly going to jump into introducing the benefits of testing, both manual and automated testing in the cloud, and conclude with shifting the testing into the cloud, scaling it up, both for web and mobile. And as mentioned by Shelby, throughout the webinar, feel free to engage, ask any questions. Of course, the slides are already available for you, and the recording will be made available later on. So let's start with the digital landscape overview. And, you know, the digital engagement today is becoming more relevant than ever. We see that a lot of businesses are now serving their clients only through digital channels, which is websites, mobile applications, hybrid applications, because of the current situation. But even before this COVID-19 pandemic events, digital and digital transformation weren't new. Businesses already shifted to digital. The only thing that is now being, you know, more emphasized is how digital user experience in today's reality is even more important and critical to keeping your business live and healthy. And you know, if you haven't pay too much attention to quality in your digital channels, again, can be responsive website, can be your mobile application, can be a mobile application that connects to other devices. It's still part of the digital ecosystem. You need to have a very solid digital strategy going forward because, you know, this is the way your clients are looking to engage with you, and they are obviously expecting that everything will continuously work, function, perform as well, you know, pretty good. So just as an example from the previous days, I was looking at the Boots in the UK, the Boots website, which is kind of the CVS or Target in the States, in the US. And if you go to boots.com or boots.uk, you will not even see the content of the website. You will just see a large counter showing that you are number 120,000 member in line. So there is like a huge queue online for getting serviced through the booths people. This is obviously unrealistic from a brand to expect that someone will wait in line for 6 or 7 hours on the website to just purchase anything or to buy anything. Same goes for other retail websites. So websites and mobile apps, obviously, especially today, needs to be more highly performing across different browsers and devices, but also they need to be always up and running. So, you know, if you have time after this webinar, go and check it out. I don't think that I've seen in the past such experience. So obviously it's quite important. And if talking about experience, let's look at what's out there right now. And I will start with the mobile just to keep everyone online on the same page as where the market is today. And if you look at the mobile space, so obviously the Android ecosystem is fragmented. It's been fragmented for the past few years, and it's still, you know, around 6 different stock OS families, with a beta 2 of Android 11 that is already out there, available for Pixel devices. Perfecto already supports both Android 11 beta as well as all the others that are listed in the screen. So if you are looking today to test mobile applications, native mobile application or hybrid mobile application on smartphones, on Android, you need to consider these different 5, 6 OS families, and I will soon expand even more because it's not just these stock OS versions, it's a bit more complicated. On the iOS front, it's a bit more simple, but still we are looking at 2 to 3 operating system families across iPhones and iPads. However, we are approaching May, and in May, Apple is going to do the Worldwide Developer Conference in a virtual manner, the first time ever, and they are definitely going to launch quite close to that date the first developer preview of iOS 14. So iOS 14 is coming in a month or so from today as well. So you will consider 3 or 4 even operating systems on iOS. So if you have today a mobile device lab and different configurations, you want to make sure that you have a subset of each of these platforms if you haven't done so already. Specifically on Android, and this is something that in my mind is quite important, is that if in the previous slide I've shown you that we have 6 distinct stock OS versions, okay, look at the actual devices and on which Android versions they are running. So obviously the base stock OS for Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, which is the latest Samsung, it's running on Android 10, but actually Samsung already enriched the base stock OS, and the actual OS that runs on this device is the One UI 2. If you go to S8, Samsung S8, it actually runs on an older generation of this operating system. It's a custom operating system called One UI. Samsung S7 is even older, and it runs on TouchWiz UI. So you can see that there are so many distinct base stock OS, but there are also custom OS implementations that you need to consider. If you expand, you know, to Huawei and LG and Oppo and others, you can actually see that this also takes the Android stock OS versions and customize them into EMUI 9.1 and LG UX and Magic UI. So the point around this slide is that while you do have stock OS versions that are running on Pixel devices and some other devices, you want to have the right mix also on the Samsungs, the Motorola's, and Huawei and others, because they also take this stock OS and customize them to be quite different, and you need to test them. That's the bottom line here. The market, as I mentioned earlier, definitely is not stopping. You can see only in we're still in March, okay? So we're just closing March. You can see that how many devices were released to the market just in this month, but also throughout the quarter. Uh, this is a huge amount of new platforms with stock and custom Android OS versions, and we are going to see next month potentially a new iPhone SE and some other Android devices. Okay, so you want to keep that in mind as you plan forward your next 2 quarters and look at what you have right now in your lab and what you need to actually include or install so you actually test on what's out there in the market. Moving to the web market overview, in the web, the situation is also a bit more complicated, and you can see obviously that Chrome is leading the way, but Firefox, Safari, Edge are obviously taking also some nice share. On the desktop OS, you can see the different permutations. And by the way, each line here, you know, the desktop browser popularity, the desktop OS market share, the Windows OS families, each and every line here is fully broken, and you can see that you can test obviously Windows 10 with Chrome latest, Chrome -1, Firefox, and so forth. Also, the Mac OS does support Firefox and Chrome, so each and every Mac OS needs to be tested not just with the latest Safari browser, but also at least with the latest Chrome and Chrome -1. So from a global web market share, this is for Q1 that we are just ending, 2020. You want to look at all these different unique lines of data, but also do the different configurations and permutations so you get the right web cross-browser testing, okay, on top of the mobile that I've just mentioned. If you want to see what's coming in the next couple of months, this is kind of a nice web platform calendar, which you can look and maybe post on your wall so you make sure that you are upgrading all of your browsers to the latest beta version and also the GAs. Obviously, if you are a Perfecto customer, you get all of these as a service. We maintain and keep all of these platforms, both mobile and web, up to date for you as a service. So now that we have kind of aligned on the digital landscape as of today, which mobile OS versions are out there, which platforms were currently, at least up until today, released, and how the cross-browser market looks like, okay, let's now understand why the cloud is so important, okay? And keep in mind the previous few slides that we're talking about the scale of mobile and web. What I've gathered for you are the top 7 cloud testing benefits, okay? There might be even an 8 or 9, but in my mind, these are the top important ones that you want to consider when looking at moving your on-premise activities into the cloud. So obviously the first one, keep up with platform upgrades. You have seen in the previous slides that mobile devices are being released on a monthly basis. You know, just in March, we've seen a bunch of like almost 20 new smartphones, okay? And the next couple of months are going to include even more, okay? We've seen the monthly releases of Firefox and Chrome browsers, okay? If you're managing it in-house, you and your IT department need to be on top of all of these updates, keep up with all of them, and actually it takes you a lot of time. And oh, by the way, now that a lot of the organizations shifted to work from home, I don't know how you can actually physically obtain these devices, update them, and connect them to your secure networks. This is where, or this is in my mind, one of the top cloud benefits, not just today, but also in general. So having an up-to-date digital environment for web and mobile that is always up to date, connected to your secure networks, and accessible from any place in the world, your house, different geographies, and so forth. The second is having this environment always available, always on 24/7. That's one of the promises of a cloud. Obviously, Perfecto Cloud stands behind that with almost 100% availability, 99.9% of the time availability at 11 different geographies. Okay, think about it. If you have teams distributed these days, getting them connected to your lab in the cloud, whether it's a mobile or web or both, is seamless. Okay, it's always connected. It's a matter of connecting your Selenium grid from IntelliJ or from any other frameworks that you have to the Perfecto cloud, and you're up and running. Connecting to that benefits is the third one, which is the enterprise-grade secure environment. Okay, again, you are working from home or you are working from a specific location. You want to have access to these platforms, but in a very highly secure manner, including your backend services. That's one of the cloud benefits. Okay, you have data centers that are fully governed, fully protected, with segregated networks, VPN connectivity, SSO, credentials, everything. And I will show you in a few moments how to connect to a cloud. You know, but basically, this is the essence of your business. You want to have access to these platforms through a very secure channel. The next benefit is always, obviously, the unlimited test automation scalability. And here I'm talking not just about scalability of the platforms themselves, but also how many tests you can run. Okay, specifically with Perfecto, think about so many test automation frameworks that you can connect to the cloud. Think about the automation coverage that you can carry across different regression cycles within your CI, across as many platforms, can be mobile devices and desktop browsers that you configure either through TestNG or other data-driven method. So unlimited test automation scalability of scenarios and platforms, that's the fourth benefit. The fourth benefit. The fifth one is the productivity anywhere. So as I mentioned, Perfecto as a specific cloud here, we are the host of this webinar. We have 11 data centers across all continents. So think about your distributed teams, organizations, customers, okay, that are in different locations. You can test across these different locations with devices and browsers at any given time through your CI or through your IDE or any automation framework that you will choose. So it keeps you productive at any time, anywhere in the world. That's very critical, especially these days. Cost effective. You don't need to manage any lab on your own. You don't need to buy any of these devices or VMs from, I don't know, Amazon or other vendor. You get all the environment with all the different capabilities that I will highlight, few of them during this webinar, in a cost-effective manner. Okay, we have hybrid cloud solutions with public and private, so you can actually tailor based on your budget requirement a nice cloud solution that fits your business, your testing activities, and also other product schedules that you may have. And lastly, you have a client, a cloud client that you can rely on with disaster recovery built in, audit ready. We can store tons of test data for as long as you need. Okay, we have these 11 data centers that are fully protected, so all your business is in good hands. Okay, Perfecto, again, as the cloud vendor in this regard, we are a cloud vendor for over 13 years now. We have been in the cloud business for almost as long as anyone else, or actually more than anyone else, meaning we know this business, we know how to service the clients that we are working with, protect them from any disasters that can happen, and again store all their data in a secure manner with a cloud that is, again, always on, always available, always up to date. So I think that these top 7 benefits in my mind kind of summarizes, again, specifically in the testing domain, the top benefits that you might have if you today have a DIY, do-it-yourself, or kind of an hosted testing solution, shifting it to the cloud will result in at least these top 7 benefits. In my mind, there are a few more that I haven't mentioned that you will also benefit from. It can be a nice facilitation and cross-team collaboration as well that I haven't mentioned here. As mentioned, there can be even more benefits. I highlighted the top one, but also the collaboration between teams is also something that you get baked into the solution. Let me show you something that is taken from our customer base, again, without revealing any of the names. You can see some of the cloud customers for Perfecto that have been with us. I'm just going back 3 years now. I'm not going even older. And you can see that in the last 3 years, all of the Perfecto customers who shifted to the cloud have seen a great improvement in the production application ratings. You can see some improved by over 134% their application ratings, some of them by 59%, but everyone obviously improved the overall quality of the app, definitely didn't decline it, and retained their happy customers over the past few years and obviously going forward. So you can see, in addition to the previous slide that talks all about the benefits, in theory, this is a reality, if you like, pane of glass, showing a different set of customers, taken, by the way, from different verticals, retail, healthcare, travel, financial and insurance, and many more, how they have actually expanded and improved their quality over the past few years. Let's now move from theory to practice, and let's see how testing with Perfecto for both your web and mobile application looks like. And before I do so, I wanted to just give you, for those of you who are not familiar with Perfecto, just a nice company profile. Who is Perfecto and about the Perfecto cloud offering? So Perfecto is obviously a cloud solution for continuous testing, test automation, based of 11 different data centers. You can see the green lights here, green dots in this slide. We are spread across all continents. We have over 10,000 smartphones and tablets. We are the biggest, largest mobile cloud vendor in the world today. I'm not aware of any cloud solution that has over 10,000 different smartphones and tablets, okay? Think about the scale here. We have an unlimited ability to provide access to different desktop browsers, VMs, so you can scale your test automation for any project, again, including Chrome, Firefox, Safari, IE, and Edge. So all of the leading browsers are supported, and I will demonstrate how you can access them. Again, all as a service. You do not need your IT to set it up for you. You don't need to update and keep up, running and chasing these platforms. We are updating them for you as a service. We are fully integrated with the leading automation frameworks and CI/CD solutions. You can see just a subset of the technologies that Perfecto integrates with: Appium, Selenium, Espresso and XUI test, Amplitude ISO visual testing, Protractor and WebDriver IO for cross-browser test automation, Neoload for performance test automation, again, in the cloud, Concept.js. We integrate with the CI/CD servers such as Jenkins, Azure DevOps, CircleCI, and Bitrise. And again, this is just a subset. If you go to the perfecto.io website /integrations, you will actually see even more technologies that we are integrating with, and we are adding more and more. I think just 2 weeks ago, we have done a webinar together with Catalan Studio. So another integration is with Catalan Studio, and the list is quite long. Perfecto, as part of Perforce, serves over 9,000 customers in 18 different countries, okay? Half of them, the customers, are in the Fortune 500. okay? We have very good customer support, okay? And professional services making our retention rates close to 99%, okay? Perfecto, again, as part of Perforce, is a huge enterprise DevOps suite. We've just completed 6 acquisitions over the past 4 years. Okay, it can tell you about the large vendor that you are dealing with and a vendor that you can actually trust in these tough days that can continuously support you, maintain your activities, and serve you as you need. With that, let's shift to showing you how you can do both manual testing for web and mobile applications in the cloud, and then I will start with manual testing and then move to some advanced test automation abilities. To do so, and I will share my screen in just a second. I will just click screen share. Shelby, can you see my browser now? The Perfecto Cloud?
Yep.
Awesome. So again, I didn't need to install anything. You can sit in your home, in your other offices that you have, and get access to both manual testing as well as codeless automation. I will refer to codeless automation when I'm talking about the test automation abilities, but let's start first with manual testing. So for manual testing, what you can actually do, you can do testing on both mobile devices and desktop browsers. So you can see here, and this is just a demo cloud. Obviously, if you have your own dedicated cloud, you can define which smartphones and tablets on which operating systems you want them to be. But these are all real devices, okay? Real smartphones, real tablets with SIM cards that you can control, you can call and do whatever you like. I can actually open now, let's open an iPhone 7. Okay, this is a real device. While I'm opening this device, I can actually go to the Android. Okay, and you can see that you have also a long list of Android devices here that you can choose from. Let's choose, I don't know, let's choose a Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Hopefully it's available right now. So I've opened an iPhone 7, okay, and a Samsung Galaxy Note 10. The iPhone 7, it took me just 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and I have access to a real smartphone, okay? You can see here in the information, this iPhone 7 running on iOS 13.3.1. This is the device ID. It's actually connected with a SIM card to the Vodafone UK network, okay, in the UK. If you want to connect through it via your Appium environment, you can actually copy and paste the desired capabilities in all of the Appium supported languages, Java, JavaScript, Python, Ruby, C#, whatever, okay? For example, this is the Java capabilities. You can see here the iOS platform name, the platform version, the location, everything else, which simply copy to your Appium script and connecting it to the cloud. You can do a lot of things with the device, from swiping, installing an application, launching an application. For example, I can launch the news application, and you can see it running. I can go here, okay, and I can see what other applications are installed on the device. I can actually do something more. I can inject fingerprint. If my application, I want to test it manually, and it's protected through fingerprint, I can actually mimic a fingerprint authentication and actually see what's happening when I do it. I send a failed injection versus a passed injection to the app to see if the application actually can support both and how it behaves. In addition, I can set the location of the device. This device right now is in the UK. I can actually change the location of the device and put it in a different location. I can search for a location or simply provide some coordinates, okay? In addition, and that's a very important thing, especially these days, I talked to you about Boots UK and the performance issues that they have on their website. You can actually play with network virtualization. You can set specific predefined network profiles and see how they impact your application performance, okay? I can actually customize and actually define latencies, packet loss, bandwidth, and other network abilities, and see how my website or my hybrid mobile applications behave in a degraded network condition. Okay, this is how I will set the network condition on this device. Okay. In addition, what I can do is play with the screen orientation. I can rotate the screen and get the device logs. You can see here. This is quite important. Even for manual testing, you want to send a command to the device and see in the logs what's happening. You can do so. Okay. So I haven't done even one test automation scenario here. These are all things that you can do manually, and this is for the iPhone. Same goes for the Galaxy Note 10. Okay, the Galaxy Note 10 also has all of the abilities that I've just showed you. Again, this is a real device, and you can do testing on both Samsung, Android, all in parallel. Up to 6 devices can be tested interactively on your platform. But it's not just about mobile, it's also web. In the web scenarios, you can actually define either a Mac or a Windows machine. Let's take a Windows machine, Windows 10 with Chrome 80. Okay, this is the screen resolution, and I will pick US East. You can see also the capabilities. If you want to copy them into your Selenium scripts, you can do it also from here directly to your IDE. And when I launch the browser, I'm now spinning up a new virtual machine running Chrome on Windows 10 in the US East. Again, it took me 2 seconds. Okay, think about the speed of VM population. Think about the speed it will be when you are running it in an automated fashion from your IDE or from your CI. And this is a real browser that you can engage with, type into, and do your interactive testing live without contacting any of your IT department. You get full access to browsers and, again, real mobile devices. Okay, you can see here the information, Windows 10, Chrome 80. These are all the capabilities that you can connect to your Selenium grid. That's the Selenium grid for you in the cloud. Okay, so this was a very brief overview of the Perfecto interactive cloud that allows you to test both web applications as well as mobile applications as a service. Let's now close both the Android and the iOS devices and go back to the presentation. I will also close the VM and I will release that. Now I will end the screen share, just 1 second. And let's shift to talking a bit about mobile and web test automation. We've just seen the interactive part. Let's talk a bit about automated testing. So when you do test automation with Perfecto in the cloud, you already seen the scalability of mobile and web, but also you have seen in the previous slide the different, I would say, test automation frameworks and CI/CD solutions that Perfecto can integrate with. So this can allow you to both scale your testing and also match the testing to different skill sets. Some of your testers can be just business testers who are not born coders in Java or JavaScript. Some are very highly capable developers that live in the IntelliJ or the other IDEs and feel more comfortable writing tests in development languages such as Java and JavaScript. So you want to have good coverage, but also you want to match your test automation activities to the skill set. This is why, specifically with the Perfecto Cloud, we allow our customers to choose from a large variety of capabilities across different skill sets. What you see here, and obviously this is just a subset, as mentioned, we have just concluded a webinar a week or 2 weeks ago showing you how to connect Perfecto to Catalan Studio, but there are many other frameworks that I'm not going to demonstrate in this webinar due to lack of time, but you can check it through the website as well. But what I want to show you is 2 things, actually 3 things. I want to show you, for those of you online who are Selenium and Appium developers, how you can connect your scripts to the Perfecto Cloud and scale. the other demo, I'm going to show you how you can do the same thing with a BDD framework. Perfecto stands behind an open source BDD framework called Quantum, which allows you to do Gherkin scripting, but also underneath supports Java and JavaScript for the step definition development. And I also want to talk a bit about the Selenium Codeless. For those of you who are completely don't want to live within IDEs and write any type of code, you just want to use record and playback like Codeless. But again, it's an advanced codeless solution. And again, based on the time, I will show you just a bit on how it looks like and how to work or get started with. So let's move and see the different types of automation that matches different skill sets. So I'm going to share my screen again. And now I'm going to be on the IntelliJ. And what I will start with, Shelby, again, I'm checking with you to make sure, can you see my IntelliJ screen?
Yep, looks good.
Awesome. So what I want to show you, I want to show you a demo, fully Selenium, okay? The only thing that I wanted to add, or I added in this Maven project, again, it's a Selenium project with TestNG that allows me to run tests at scale on a responsive website. For those of you who follow me, maybe you have seen something similar. This is taking the Boston Globe website, which is the responsive website, to a large scale tour. The only thing that I added to this Selenium project are two things. One, I added the packages to the Perfecto reporting. I will talk a bit about the reporting during the demo as well. So having the ability to see at the end of each execution a very good scaled reporting is a key, not just a key differentiator in our market that Perfecto brings pipeline, but also across all your testing activities. I will soon show you how it looks. So again, we added the libraries for the reporting capabilities, and most important, these are all the different platforms, you know, the Google Pixel 3, Note 10, this is the responsive web, so I'm testing it across both mobile devices, real mobile devices, and desktop browsers, all in the cloud. You can see here a large amount of platforms that I'm going to run my test against. Think about this list of platforms if you wanted to test against them in your own office, especially today, but even not today, if you wanted to keep up with all these different configurations in-house, how much effort you would need to scale such a Selenium grid and a mobile device lab. I only needed, in my case, to set these capabilities in my project. I needed to provide my cloud credentials and the security token, which I will hide from security purposes. But basically, you need a username and a security token to connect to the Perfecto cloud, obviously with the cloud URL. And then all of the other things are pure Selenium, okay? I go to the Boston Globe website. I try to subscribe to get the Boston Globe newspaper. These are my different credentials, the address, the email. Obviously, all of these are fake information, but I'm using, all the Selenium object identifiers and wrapping it up. I'm basing, again, this is a Maven project, so you can see here all the different capabilities. This is the Perfecto reporting SDK that I'm adding as a dependency, and there are other dependencies of Selenium, of course, and JUnit. I'm using JUnit as well. And in the TestNG here, I'm also typing, the Chrome latest, and I'm providing the class name, which is test on delivery sign up. This is the class name. That's the only thing that I needed to do. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to execute the TestNG project, okay? But I'm going to shift now to my website. I'm going back to the cloud. I'm going to the test analysis. I will check with Shelby again. Can you see the browser screen as well?
Yep.
Okay. So we will wait for the different web drivers to pop up. You can already start seeing 2 desktops being populated, actually 4, and you will start seeing even more platforms added to the execution. Look at that, okay? I'm running at scale a responsive web test across so many platforms in one execution with very minimal setup of both hardware and software, if you like, and it's now running all at scale, okay? I can filter just by a specific platform here, or just look at everything that I'm now looking. I can see here in the information that this is the Edge 17 running the Boston Globe test. It's a Windows 7 with Microsoft Edge 17 on this screen resolution. Okay, you can also see here that I've added a mobile device. Okay, this is the Galaxy Note 10 running with let's say Android 9 on a screen resolution of 1080 on 2280. Okay, look at the scale here. This is exactly what you want when you are testing a responsive website. You want a mix of desktop browsers, mobile devices, all running in parallel in the cloud. At the end of the execution, which will be quite soon, you can see the fast execution time here across so many platforms. I will go back to the report library. If you want to drill down only to a specific, report, I can go here to the Windows 7 with Chrome 80. Okay, you can see here that this was the report that I've just executed. Okay, opening the home page to the Boston Globe, and you can see here all the pages, all the things that I've done. I can also go here and see the live video that was captured, and I want to see it, synchronized with the different steps. This is all part of the capabilities of the platform. I can download the report. I can report a defect in Jira. Okay, if I found something that I didn't like, I can report the defect in Jira, sending it back to the developers. I can go back to the report library and also see some automated root cause analysis. I wanted to run on a Google Pixel 4, but the device was not found. Okay, I didn't need to get like a failure or need to waste my time running through noise. The system already identified for me that I was lacking a device that I wanted to test on in the cloud and put it as a blocked test for me. So I know that it's not a bug, it's something in my test configuration that I need to take care of. This is huge productivity boost for you during the testing. So what we have seen so far, we've seen a responsive website that was tested across multiple browser configurations, real mobile devices, again in the cloud, running in parallel within a Maven project through TestNG, okay, in Java, with a nice set of reporting that gives you both an execution at scale dashboard with a live stream, as well as a single test report with logs, the abilities to connect to Jira, and many more. And by the way, it was also connected to CI, so you can see the Boston Globe here. You can see a new branch added to my test execution over time. Okay, so this was for developers who want to run Selenium. By the way, the Appium would have behaved the same way. Now let's go back to the IntelliJ and let's shift to a project that is BDD based. So BDD kind of facilitates the collaboration between business testers and developers or test automation engineers. So how does it do it? The way that it works is the ability to have step definitions defined in Java. You can see it here. Okay, you have a function called, then I go to services menu. Okay, I will soon show you how it connects. Okay, but basically that's a step definition in Java that a Gherkin scenario that I will soon show you can use across multiple scenarios. Okay, let's see how it looks. Let's see. When I go to, you see this function, then I go to the services menu. This function was implemented in Java in the SKO demo Java. You see here, then I go to the services menu. It simply goes to a menu item on the screen, and perform or validate that it can see the Perfecto SVS text. Okay, you can see a mix of English language-based testing scenarios, like sending details and clicking on the About screen, mixed with a subset of step definitions that in this case were written in Java. This framework also supports JavaScript. So depending on your skill set in development, you can use this platform both with Java and JavaScript. This project also leverages TestNG. The only thing that you need to do to connect to the cloud is, again, in the environment properties, it's just a text file. You want to connect the cloud URL, you put a cloud URL, put your security token and credentials. That's the only thing that you need to do. In the TestNG workspace, you want to put all the different frameworks or permutations to run on, like in the responsive web demo that I've shown you in Selenium. Here you will put in TestNG desktop browsers configurations, the thread count as well. If you want to run in parallel at higher scale, you can put even more here. So here I'm putting an iPhone and a Samsung Galaxy device and a different desktop browser. Now you've seen Quantum. This is the BDD framework. Again, this is a Gherkin scenario. It has actually two scenarios backed by some Java implemented functions. And I'm going to click Run on the TestNG here. And I will go back to my live stream, and I will see how this project also runs, again, in the cloud. So think about it. If you have a function or a team that runs on the responsive project and one team that is using BDD, you can actually see in one live stream both Selenium, Appium, and BDD running at the same time. You can filter by project, by platform, any other filters that you can think of here. You have this filter. You can choose which executions you want to see, etc. Right now, you see the Perfecto project running the Perfecto SVS here using Quantum BDD on 8 different environments. Okay. So again, we have seen a responsive in Selenium. We have seen a BDD demo running. Again, underneath it supports Selenium and Appium. Again, running at scale using TestNG. Everything is supported. And by the way, I could have connected it also to my CI and run it trigger based upon code changes or other CI triggers. Okay. If I go right now and I'm going to look at the last 24 hours, I can actually see the test that I was just running. This was the send details, and actually one test failed for me, which is nice. I don't want to see everything green. I've seen here that there was an automated failure that was found, that it was looking for an object in this page, and it couldn't identify the element, okay? This is not a bug, okay? This is how Perfecto is helping developers and testers to filter out noise. Element not found is just noise. It means that either an object was not found, or I was using by mistake an XPath or a flaky object that was changed, or it couldn't be found by the framework. This is very helpful for me to know that all the other test cases passed, and this specific scenario on this specific platform requires me to do some more debugging and fix it, but I know that I don't have a real bug here. It's just noise. So let me summarize what we have seen so far. We've seen a nice interactive demo showing us both testing on mobile devices, real mobile devices, as well as desktop browsers. We then seen a nice execution at scale using Selenium in the Perfecto Selenium grid across both real mobile devices and browsers against the Boston Globe website. Next, what we have just completed was a BDD demo running again at scale in the Perfecto cloud with a nice reporting and root cause analysis. It was all demonstrated in the live stream. To conclude this execution demo, I just want to let you know that we also have a codeless ability. So if you want to test a new project, okay, and you don't want to write any code, you can actually look at the codeless solution that allows you to record and playback your script on web applications. Okay, the beauty of this solution is that you can actually get not just the record and playback, you get a self-healing capabilities on the elements. So if an element was changed or the priority got upgraded or declined, both can happen, the platform will fix itself and move the execution script for you to the highest weight distributed object, so you have a very solid execution of your scripts. And this can complement your code-based activities that I've just demonstrated. You can think about the live stream that I've shown you in the reporting running both. Right now, nothing is running on my cloud, but you can think about running Selenium, BDD, Cucumber with additional codeless testing in one single platform in the cloud, on mobile, and web. So this is the Perfecto cloud with all its glory: execution, test automation execution, manual testing, reporting for both mobile and web, also with connectivity to CI and defect management through Jira. Now you can see back my slide. So to summarize the webinar, I wanted to just give you the Perfecto's 4 key pillars for continuous testing in DevOps, especially today. So we have demonstrated in this webinar the core benefits of the cloud, especially how Perfecto sees that. I've demonstrated to you both manual and automated testing at scale in the cloud without the need to leave your couch or your seat at home or in any other office that you may be across the globe. But what you need to understand, especially in continuous testing, is that you want to have at any given time all of the abilities to create test automation for any different persona that you have in the organization, any skill set, any project that you have with different capabilities. You want to have the ability to create from the platform these test automation scenarios. You want to have the ability to execute at scale across all the frameworks. I think I've demonstrated to you in this webinar that you can execute BDD scripts, Selenium and Appium scripts, as well as Codeless in one place at high scale. I think you have seen a test running on the Boston Globe on almost 20 different permutations, 20 different platforms, which is huge. Again, the lab is fully managed, it's fully available online, up to date. You've seen the different devices, the latest Samsungs, the latest browsers, the latest iPhones. It's all up to date and available. It was fully connected. It was ready for me when I launched the execution. I was not afraid that nothing will be available. Everything was perfect. Everything was available for me in the lab, in the cloud, without me needed to contact support, IT, or other operational guys. I had the access to the lab in the cloud at any given time. And last but not last, and it's quite important, I think you have seen the value of having a good reporting at the end of the execution. Because once I clicked on the test NG across the 3 different execution types, this is now becoming a black box for me. Without the reporting facility, I was kind of blind. So having the test analysis capabilities allowed me to not just see in live what's happening across the different platforms, it was also highlighting for me crashes, elements not found, automated root cause analysis, the health within the CI. Some of the projects were running through CI as well. And the different cross-platform capabilities. I was also able to see logs per each execution, okay? Connectivity to Jira to detect and report bugs. It was all kind of an integrated reporting solution that can serve as a single pane of glass to all of my testing activities across the different teams. So having these 4 pillars available for me in one solution definitely increases my chances to build a good continuous testing foundation in my DevOps reality. And this is what we believe in Perfecto is key for success. When you are lacking one of these pillars, you are starting to struggle with building it yourself, creating dependencies, maintaining it endlessly as market shifts. So it's very hard. Having it all integrated in one unified solution obviously helps bring you much closer to the goal of continuous testing mature in DevOps. With that, I would like to conclude this webinar with just a few questions that we have time for. And I promise you, whatever questions that I'm not able to answer during this webinar, I will get back to you after the webinar. Shelby, do we have time for like 1 or 2 questions?
Yes, absolutely. Our first question from the audience is, what is the biggest advantage of a cloud-based solution as it relates to platform coverage maintenance?
Okay, this is a great question, especially today. And I think my first part of the webinar actually showed where the market stands today with the different stock and custom OS versions in Android and the 3 to 4 iOS families and the constant upgrades of Firefox and Chrome on a monthly basis. The market doesn't stop. It shifts on a monthly basis. And to be able to scale and upgrade your existing lab configuration and not test an outdated environment, you want to have the cloud taking care for these things for you automatically as a service. So the cloud makes every upgrade seamless to you, allowing you to focus on test creation, test maintenance, and execution, actually focusing on quality. This is what every tester is being paid for, to make sure that he is releasing high-quality products and not becoming an IT or lab manager.
All right, and our next question is, which CI/CD environment can the Perfecto Cloud integrate with?
Okay, I haven't demonstrated the full-blown CI/CD pipeline integration in this webinar, so this is a good question. In the About slide that I've shown, I actually listed a subset of the integrations that we have. So Perfecto integrates with Jenkins, Azure DevOps, Circle CI, Bamboo, and the other, I think it was Bitrise. Bitrise is the latest integration that we added in the Perfecto cloud, but there are others as well. I might be forgetting something, but all the major CI/CD servers are fully integrated in Perfecto, and some of our customers are already taking advantage. And one point around that is also, and I've shown you the CI dashboard, everything that you are running within the CI, whatever framework that you are using, gets back to the CI, to the Perfecto reporting. So you can actually see a nice pipeline health visualized in the Perfecto reporting tool coming from Jenkins, Azure DevOps, Bitrise, and other CI tools.
Great. And the last question I think we have time for is, can Perfecto support both functional and non-functional testing in the cloud?
That's a good question, and I think that it's a timely as well, because when you talk about non-functional testing, you talk a bit about performance and availability, you talk about accessibility, security, and I think these are the things that today are becoming quite important, because these are the things that, in my experience in the with organizations, people are not shifting them left into the cycle. They are leaving them to the end of the cycle, or sometimes they're not even doing them at all. Perfecto allows you to do both functional testing. I've demonstrated in this webinar a lot of functional testing abilities through Selenium and Gherkin, Cucumber, BDD, and Codeless, and the list is long, but also Perfecto can allow you to do non-functional testing, either through Neotis for your performance testing, accessibility testing, also API testing can be performed with Perfecto to see the impact on the front-end browsers and mobile devices. So you can definitely do both functional and non-functional testing with Perfecto. If you have questions specifically on solutions or frameworks, get in touch with us and we'll try to support you in that. So with that, Shelby, I think we reached the end of this webinar, and I know that there probably are other questions that we'll need to take offline. But with that, I would like to thank all of you that joined this webinar. You can continue following us and sign up for the next webinars in our perfecto.io website, on our social channels. With that, I would like to also invite you to a new Slack channel that Perfecto just launched called Test Automation Experts. It's a free Slack channel discussing pure test automation challenges, best practices, tips and tricks. So check out the Test Automation Experts Slack channel and be our guest. And with that, I would like to ask you to stay safe and welcoming you to the next webinars. Thank you, Shelby, for hosting the webinar.